Assembly. He says the presidency is the government centre where strategy and government policies are coordinated. Babalo Ndenze reports.
Political parties yesterday debated the presidency budget in a 7-hour marathon session criticizing President Cyril Ramaphosa. Most submissions by parties blame the presidency for the failing service delivery and persistent corruption in the country. But Ramaphosa says the presidency is not an implementing agent and rather monitors and coordinates government's work.
It is not an implementing department. The presidency does not go around the country to fix roads or fix potholes. The presidency does not deliver clinics or dispense grants. The presidency, and indeed the president, does not try accused persons or put them in orange overalls.
Ramaphosa says he acknowledges that South Africans have grown wary of well-crafted plans and strategies and want to see implementation. Hence, the Department of Monitoring and Evaluation was created to monitor performance. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
FlySafair insists ongoing wage disputes at the airline do not signal a looming strike. Fears of flights being grounded have grown as pilots demand a 10% pay increase, almost double the 5.7% offered by the airline. About two-thirds of FlySafair pilots are represented by the union Solidarity, which has already warned that its members may strike if their demands are not met. Although FlySafair believes the standoff can be resolved before reaching a strike, it has already rescheduled several flights for the coming week as a precaution. Key issues on the table include salary negotiations affected by the company's policy of leave days off, as well as frustration over a new rostering system. FlySafair Chief Marketing Officer Kirby Gordon.
Unfortunately, they've not yet found common ground, which has resulted in the issuance of a strike certificate. That does not, of course, mean that a strike is looming at this stage. There's still a requirement to give notice, so negotiations are ongoing.
And the death toll in Iraq mall fire have risen to 61. The blaze at the mall broke out last night and has since been brought under control. The Iraq government has 14 charred bodies have been found in the mall and 45 people had been rescued from inside the building. A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, Johannesburg dropping to an overnight low of 7 degrees, peaking at 22 degrees. Dominique Majola, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Shonim Kize joins us. You know there's an existence of Siwelele now.
Of course. And I'm sad because they put an offer for Real AM, which was rejected.
Gayton Mackenzie's son?
Yes.
For how much?
I think it was 35, 40, I don't know, I can't remember.
So why did you reject it then?
I didn't. My father did. It was not up to me to decide who buys and who doesn't buy. The curator was appointed to preserve the asset, not to hold it for anyone. All these stories of saying SARS has taken over Real AM, that's not the truth.
Having recently been what? As Highlanders?
As been the president of Mbabane Highlanders AM FC. How is the rhyme? Nice, ne?
It's long.
It's long? Do you think I must shorten it?
Yeah. Say the name in full?
Oh, you want to drop it?
No, it's not my club, it's your club.
Many laughed when I uttered the words Formula One, that Formula One must come back to South Africa. But I want to bring honor to one man in particular who didn't laugh. His name is Toby Venter, the owner of the Kalami racetrack. When I told him that government doesn't have the money to host Formula One because of more urgent priorities, this South African, Toby Venter, said he's in a position to help make his track an up lifted to F1 standards. He looked me in the eye and he said he would see it as his patriotic duty to do that. That was a year ago. I stand here today to tell you that the FIA, the FIFA of motorsport, has given the green light for the upgrading of the track.
I've got nothing to do with what is happening. When I speak, you all complain. When I keep quiet, you all complain. I don't know what you want now.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Yeah, I talked about a double-header today. It's exactly what it is that we're going to be having. An exciting show. Be a part of it. It is a Thursday today. We start off with marketing geniuses, and at the same time, we bring you coaches with a mission. It's all happening tonight. It is Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
We are interactive at any stage that you would want to. We are also live on the YouTube channel, so at any time you want to pose any questions or comments, hey, feel free, just log on and be a part of it. It's an exciting journey, and that's why today, I don't know, there's just a lot of energy around the building, around the studio, and that is why I'm saying right now that we're going to be going beyond the scoreboard and into the soul of a partnership that I can proudly say, when I've seen it on television, I think it's forged on pride, passion, and purpose. As you know, Coca-Cola Africa having stepped pretty boldly onto rugby's sacred turf, standing shoulder to shoulder with the Springboks in a game that kind of transcends sport. Now, it's not just a sponsorship. You look at it and you say, there's a whole lot more. I mean, it's a story of unity, a story of empowerment. You talk about legacy, it is there. And then the future, well, that takes to the field in terms of the players. I've seen this parade ad. I mean, it surges forward with this newest ambassador. I think he's one for the future. Usasha Feinberg Ngomezulu. Talk about a big star, a rising star, a symbol of performance. You talk about pride and representation. I mean, what does this mean for young South Africans that are chasing their rugby dreams? That's the big question. I mean, we're going to move from boardrooms to locker rooms, from hydration to heritage tonight. And we're going to try and connect the dots. Mayasho, eKZN Gutubamsan. Aw, siyaphumelela madoda. Heritage tonight. We try and connect all those dots, and together we do win, believe you me. And that is why tonight joining us is a powerhouse of vision and influence, Uphindile Phiri, who's a senior director of assets, influences, and partnerships at Coca-Cola Africa. And she's here to unpack for us how this alliance kind of fuels communities, inspires the next generation, and also rewriting the playbook on brand storytelling in African sport. Phindile, good to see you, man. Welcome to the show, finally.
Thank you. Finally, ngize. Hey?
So good to see you, but it had to happen, and it's the right time because everybody's talking about it. We are seeing, we are listening, and it's a wow moment. This particular partnership, what is it about?
So our partnership stems back 30 years, right? As you said, right time, everything, right? Started about 30 years ago. We were there with the, win of the world, the rugby. And then as of the 1st of January this year, we've gone back and had our conversations again with SARU. Our partnership right now is one of legacy, inclusivity. We had to pause and kind of see where would we drive impact. And this is the right time for us to drive impact. What I mean by that is that over the years, we have been a partner with SARU through the grassroots programs. You would remember the Craven Week for years. So we took a time and paused, and people were asking, you guys have left sports, you've left the Craven Week, what's it about? So we needed to assess and see exactly what we were doing. Was it driving impact? Now with this partnership this time around, we're able to actually spread ourselves across multiple franchises and assets that SARU is about, which is across the men's, the women, the junior, etc. So that affords us an opportunity to really drive the type of impact that the sports needs for South Africa.
It kind of looks to me like a strategic move. When you talk about culture, national unity, it speaks right there. It speaks volumes. Can you maybe amplify a little bit more, though? Because, you know, we walk into a shop, we see these cans, we see the names of players, we see the green, we see the red, and the kind of fusion. That thought pattern, because for me, it's a South Africanism that we haven't seen in a very, very long time, if ever.
I'm so excited right now, right? Like, think about Coca-Cola. You guys we're just coming off the phase of being excited with seeing your names on a can. And now to bring the iconic Springboks with us, right? The green of the glory and the victory. So if you've seen in the stores lately in the last couple of 3 weeks, our cans are in stores. This is really to solidify the partnership, the iconic partnership that connects, as the Springboks have in the last couple of rugby finals. We've all been on the agent behind the boys. Coca-Cola, always about being communities and spreading the love, the joy. These two brands, I mean, there's no other better two to come together, right? So this is the time for us to connect behind the South African consumer of our Coca-Cola family and also the Springbok fan. And ideally, that is actually the same person we all want to see
because
the boys win.
You can trumpet all you want in terms of the players, the Springboks, the brand, but you got somebody who goes into that store to actually buy the product. That person is called a fan.
100%.
So he puts up his hand or she puts up their hand and says, okay, what about me? How do I get involved? How do I benefit from this?
And actually that can is called the fan can, right? The fan can,
Nice.
because it is the can for the fan, but also with that can, you can actually have access to what it means to be a Springbok. Our current running initiative is speaking about being a Springbok. We took time to sit with Saru to understand what is it that the Springboks go through, right? That moment before singing the anthem, anticipating your opponent, etc. And we sat and crafted this amazing initiative. I think it's a once in a lifetime. Personally, I wish I could actually enter the competition.
And be the fan.
And be the fan. In fact, be a bok for a day.
Yes.
Because for the last 2 games, we've actually had the ordinary South African by just taking a can, scanning, and going through the experience, and you find yourself in a locker room with the Springboks. That's unheard of, right? So we've been able to really sit with our partners and try and see where the value lies for our consumers. And only Coke can do type of experiences because we're known for that.
And I mean, you talk about that. It's a global brand, and we all know that. It's a case of what do you do that is different? What do you do that is everlasting, that will be imprinted in our minds forever? And I think in a quick chat that we had the other day, I made mention of a Dr. Kumalo and a young Jub. I don't know, he was probably 7 years old, who knows? But just that image for me still stays up until 2025. Now, if you're a fan, and I flip back to Gqeberha, there's the game, Springboks are playing, and there's a fan that's walking down the tunnel. There's a fan that's sitting next to... There were so many players that were not playing who are first teamers, who are World Cup winners. And the fan is there because they're not on the match day squad. They get a chance to literally hear everything
Rob,
that is going on. I mean, how did you manage that, and how was that perceived, especially when you talk about Saru and how they perceive the partnership with yourselves?
I think that really goes to show the value that Saru sees in the partnership with us, right? Because they understand that as a global brand, we are truly global, but 100% local, in a sense that it's a brand that's become synonymous with joy and giving those type of experiences for an average South African, right? So if I go back to Gqeberha, Kim was probably thinking this was a scam of sorts. Yeah. When she got called and told that you will be a bok for a day, she was like, what do you mean? We're like, no, because you are a loyal Coca-Cola drinker, can be a fan for a day. And when we picked her up with all of our partners on this program have managed to give a truly Springbok, fly like the Springboks fly, stay where the Springboks stay. And you just highlighted sitting with the players. That's unheard of. But that's from your player 24. So when all of the subs are in and they need that last man, you are that. And that's what Coca-Cola is affording the average South African.
So the question to ask is, how then do you measure your level of success? So the impact you've made. You can always go and say, okay, sales indicate X, Y, and Z, but is that it?
No, of course not. So we are able to really see how we are driving the Coca-Cola brand and resonance and association to the South African consumer, right? Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's about, okay, the fans have bought, so what? So it's that additional value. And it's these type of partnerships, right, Rob, that we go after. So people be like, oh, why is Coca-Cola there? It's about affording the right partnerships that give you access Because through us, an ordinary person that has bought themselves a can of Coke and can open up a world of unlimited experiences. And that's what this is about. It's about sitting and understanding what Saru's also trying to do with bringing the fans of rugby closer to the game. And through the partners such as ourselves are able to afford those only Coke can do experiences, right? So that's what it is. I'm so jealous. Like, I really wish I could enter, because having seen this past weekend and the experience that Kim winning this has just been like, how can I be a fan for a day or a bog for a day?
I mean, you can't be the brains behind the campaign and also enter at the same time. You know what the T's and C's do say. But I think what the team was talking about in terms of us strategizing and talking about how we approach this news to the listener and try and make the listener understand is, I don't know if it's a shift or maybe it's an amplification of what's been there before. But as Coca-Cola Africa, are you kind of changing the narrative in terms of African athletes now in general? And is that the direction?
So I'll take it one back, right? So our athletes program is run through Powerade, right, globally. So we have a couple of athletes from different sporting codes under the Powerade brand. But it's not just any other ambassadorship, right? Our ambassadorship program is under what we also call the Athletes Code. Right? So in the country, we have Tatiana from a swimming point of view, Caitlin, Nolinda from a football point of view. We've just recently now with Sasha and what you would have seen with the Springbok partnership. That affords us the opportunity to really seek out and show that we're not just about, we really care about the type of partnerships that we have. What I mean by that, through Pause is Power, it means that it's not always about being on the pitch, right? And the Athletes Code means that Sasha can come through and have a conversation about, dear Powerade, dear Coca-Cola, I need a moment out to pause from the game. That doesn't mean our contracts fall off. So when you speak about that shift, about the type of contracts that we're able to, Powerade affords us the opportunity now with any of the ambassadors that we bring on board to be able to say, you are not just about what the go on the pitch. You can take a pause and that doesn't fall away. So I think that in terms of shifting the kind of contracts, because everyone talks about, are these contracts actually authentically for the sportsman, right? And I can truly say with the Powerade partnerships, we are able to do that.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to Mr. Shahold, and special greetings to Miss Pierre. Although I'm sad that company is there, I never found my name, but nonetheless, I just wanted to find out from her, Uti, what is going to be the measure of success in terms of, for them, like this joint venture and this partnership, like what are they going to be looking at as to say that it works for us, as to measures to say that do we continue or do we not continue? Because I think from the Springbok side, it's clear. I think for us as people, we can see. But for them, what is it that they're going to be looking at? And Mhlambe, is it also the thing, let's say Springbok should win certain games and all of those things? Like, what really are they going to be looking at?
So I think, thank you so much. And I'm sorry about igama lakho. Mhlawumbe uzokulungisela ubhuti Rob, but I'm sorry bhuti wami ukuthi uze kwaphela. But ke ikhona i-fan can, which mhlawumbe ke ungagcina uyibhok cabanga ke for a day. But I think when you speak about that, we look at ROI, right? So before we even enter any type of partnership, and this is agnostic of any type of partnership, we go through a lengthy screening and scrutiny around what that will do for our business on the African continent, which essentially then contributes to the global business, right? That is about how are we able to connect with the fans or consumers within a particular territory, in this instance for South Africa. What did we set out in terms of investments and what we're able to do by connecting with the fans of rugby and making that more Coca-Cola, bringing them closer to what we do, which is essentially for us to drive transactions of our product. So that's what it is that we will measure. We have clearly set out the targets and key measurements in terms of the success of this partnership.
All right, we got something that's called the MSW Shareholders Quickfire Questions. Yeah, so before we let you go, one-word answers. Otherwise, we call security, and you unfortunately have to be chucked out of the studio. Yeah. One-word answers. Springboks or Bafana Bafana?
Sports.
You have to use the two options I've given you.
Springboks.
Your sports hero growing up?
Oh, Dr. Khumalo. How?
The one sporting moment that gave you goosebumps?
Yo. AFCON win. Yeah, Bafana.
96.
Yo. Yes,
96.
and I was like, how am I? This looked like my dad was elated. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this about? That moment was very key for me.
Coca-Cola or Powerade?
Yo. Powerade.
Is that what's in your gym bag?
100%.
Finish the sentence. Sport in Africa is?
The future of the African child.
Her name is Pindile Piri, ladies and gentlemen. Coca-Cola Africa Senior Director, Assets and Influences and Partnerships. I thank you so much. Thanks for popping in and thanks for breaking the mold. Great work you're doing. Great work the Springboks are doing. Our focus is all the way Mbombela this weekend.
Thank you.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Probably needed a hug, but decided to buy the Renault Kwid instead. Hear me out. Listening to moody songs on the infotainment system that seamlessly connects to my phone via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. While sitting in the perfectly cushioned driver's seat with the light streaming through the open windows, kinda feels like a hug anyway. And for only $1,999 per month. Come on.
Get the stylish, SUV-inspired Renault Kwid for only $1,999 per month. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. T's and C's apply.
This July, Vodacom World transforms into a gaming universe. World of Collectibles is here, and you're the main player. From 24 to 26 July, make a purchase of $399 or more to enter. Bring your phone, sign up for the augmented reality game, and step into a world where every corner hides a chance to win epic prizes. Play and win, only at Vodacom World in Midrand. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
With quality products from Leroy Merlin, there'll always be room for home improvement. Start with the Sincere Mia Chrome Basin Mixer Tap, previously 699 Rand, now only 499 Rand. Then add the Inspire Metal Pendant Light in white, now 699 Rand, down from 899 Rand. Shop in-store and online from 4 to 27 July and transform every room. Leroy Merlin, make your home the best place to live. T's and C's apply.
Ah, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers two options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual-action soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple-action pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
It's your last chance to win with the Checkers XXL Jackpot competition. Plus, save on deals like Coca-Cola Original Tasteless Sugar Cold Drink 2 litres, 2 for 45 Rand. And Nivea Body Lotion or Cream selected variants, 400 mils for 56.99. Remember, simply buy any 3 participating products, swipe your extra savings card and get a scratch card to enter the competition. Deals valid until Sunday at Checkers.
When you're racing the clock, client presentation due at 6, heart rate 110, fingers flying, set 5:59 p.m. When you're racing the clock, trail run to sunrise, heart rate 110, feet flying, summit 5:59 a.m. From deadlines to finish lines, the Volvo EX30 Cross Country lets you cross country. Arriving soon at your nearest dealership. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I just want to ask who since Airline is no more, what are the lessons our funding about football in general? And the second question is about this whole thing. We from Waiting, I move Free State is like KZN. Do you have any regrets, ma'am?
Any regrets about Bloemfontein Celtic?
I have no regrets about Bloemfontein Celtics. The unfortunate part is that Bloemfontein Celtics was caught in a crossfire. I needed a club. I was robbed in a boardroom. and Bloemfontein Celtics was there. I'm sorry to the Bloemfontein Celtics supporters. They were just caught in a crossfire, and that's it. I came to the rescue. I was a messiah to the Bloemfontein Celtics, but at the very same token, I got some satisfaction.
No, I will have no regrets.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
All right, we switch gears now, and we switch very, very, very quickly because, time is of the essence. And, when you're surrounded by greatness as well in the studio, people who have conquered so much in the world of football, you do get excited. You also just get excited because you don't know what the future lies, what the future looks like. And that is why tonight we're going to go beyond the pitch now, beyond the goals, beyond the glory. We're going to kind of step into the engine room of South African football where raw talent is discovered, shaped, and too often lost. And that is why joining me are three men who haven't just played the game. I mean, they've built it, lived it, and now they're trying to fix it. We talk about, this is the basic team that we were chatting about earlier on today. From the Safa Transnet Football School of Excellence, the very famous School of Excellence, the man entrusted with nurturing tomorrow's stars, Mujalife Matebula. We also have, from FIFA's technical corridors, a voice of reason, a voice of reform. That's Rameletswaka. And also fresh off leading Amachita to continental triumph, now the coach with a proven blueprint now for youth success. Coach Raymond, but he's stuck in traffic somewhere. But I'll mention his name because his successes has been something else. And together, we're going to try and unpack as well the true state of football development in South Africa. What is working, what is broken, and what must the upcoming youth football technicians, the Khotla, deliver, because that's coming up pretty soon. And we need more than talk. We actually need a working document of some sort, but it mustn't gather dust. There's a lot of things that have gathered dust in SAFA offices through many, many years, and we don't need a repeat of that. That working document needs to work on the field. You talk about a clear framework, though, for talent identification. You talk about a real pathway for youth coaches, and also a future that we can believe in. Now, this is not just going to be a conversation. It's kind of a call to action, something that a lot of you have asked for. That's why the names that I've mentioned, I start off with our senior citizen, somebody that I haven't seen around here in quite a long time. Coach Rameletswaka, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Robbie. Thanks for having me.
Sure. You look younger and younger. What's the secret?
Maybe a lot of work that I'm given by FIFA. It keeps me younger. It keeps me going, working with the very same thing that you are saying.
Yeah.
How do we develop football in these different countries? The development of football. That's the core business that I'm doing now.
You've been traveling pretty much around the world. You've been doing some great work within CAF and FIFA. I think the last time I saw you doing that kind of work, go back to 2019, that was the Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations. I think that was still the earliest stages of that partnership with CAF and partnership with FIFA as well. Yeah. What would you say is the key cornerstone of what you've picked up, just in terms of where South Africa is and where we are lacking at the moment?
Thanks, Robbie. I think if you go at the top of the ladder, this is where money is invested. If you go to the Premier League, maybe the second and the third tier, this is where football is invested. But if you go down to the roots, there is no investment in that. This is where we are lacking in South Africa. The best countries in the world, they talk now about the DNA of the countries, where they say this is what we must do. We must be biased towards this to make sure that we have proper coaches in the country. If you look at South Africa, the club system is dead. What do I mean by saying club system? I played for one team in the Free State where I started with E Division, and then I go to D, then I go to promotion. It was not by age, it was by ability to say the best with the best. So the club system, anybody who owns the team now in the country is, I want to be promoted to the next level of football. School football. You have the Tlakula, you have so many schools that you can talk about. You go to the Val here, there was a school there that was hitting everybody. You go to Soweto here, there was a school. Football in the school is not the same. People fight when you say football. It's a little bit dead in the schools. But it is the truth. People would, from 12 o'clock, sit around the field waiting for the match at 3 o'clock, a school match. But it is not there. The third one that I will mention is informally, playing in the streets here. Back then, I would not go far or 2 kilometers without seeing kids playing in the street. The street football was so important to the development of youngsters. It developed what we call the creative side of the brain, because here is a street, here are cars, here are people coming here. How do I become creative, see all these things and avoid them? But that is gone. That is why you see today the type of players that we are producing, the type of players we have, they're all similar. If I take you 10 years, maybe I would say there was Ace Kuse, there was Dr. Kumalo, there was Shoes, there was Maputsi, there was David Mudise, there was Mlaba, there was Waya. There were, even if you go to Cape Town, you would find 2 or 3 players, special players. But we don't have that now, where we see the special players because the street football is there. The spaces that we have are not there. The parents are scared to have their kids out there. What is it that we can do to overcome this? Because we have a challenge in the country. Collectively, we have to sit down, Robert, and say, no club system, no school football, and no street football. What is it that we can do? I think in the country in the last 10 years, we started some academies. Who is in the academy? Who's coaching the kids in the academy? You take somebody with a C license saying, you must start coaching here. This is the important part where you say you're laying a good foundation. How do you lay a foundation with somebody who is not highly qualified, who will understand the dynamics of growing a young player? We don't do that. We just say we leave them out there with the so-called non-properly qualified coaches for them to start the process. We have to lay a good foundation right from the beginning.
So you're misleading them from the onset?
Exactly.
Sure. Okay. Let me come in here because I'm glad you laid the foundation, and giving you that latitude to do that is important, because everything you've said just brought back so many memories of exactly that, because you travel around, you don't see that. The enthusiasm for football is not there. We just see it now. And maybe it goes back to, maybe this will be a show another day, the statement and headline made by, Dr. Kaiser Motaung, saying that, the PSL should be stronger on people that win a lotto ticket and go and buy a club. I'll pause there. I'll let that sink in. I don't want to entertain it any further. But maybe that also plays a role. Mujelifa, good to see you again.
Yes, Prarop.
Welcome. I know last time we had a proper unpacking of things.
Yes.
Now this is heading towards the Lekgotla. We're going to get different voices coming in. And having heard what Coach Serame Letswaka has laid out right now, what then do you add on? Have there been any marginal changes from what the conversation we had right here in studio that last time versus where we are now and the need to still improve?
Not much has changed, Prarop. As you know, this the state is still the same, and we are crossing our fingers that God will hear our prayers that things must change for the better.
But God doesn't run football. He runs the universe and the world and everything else under the stars. We need to do more. He's given us the abilities to do more. What is lacking, though?
Well, I think generally as a nation, we are very passive towards things that are at our national interest. And sometimes also because of self-interest, people are afraid to speak out and raise their voices because I'm going to be blacklisted. If I align myself with this topic, I might not get a job later on, or I'll lose my job. So you have a situation whereby people know if you go to youth tournament, people know and they have diagnosed what is the problems of football in our country, but we don't have a platform to speak about it except in the corners. And I think in terms of what we are trying to do with Lekgotla, just to create a platform where it's not just a diagnosis of our problems, but also to come with localized solutions that takes into account social status, the finance in the game, because resources are a huge problem, which it's really delaying youth development. Because if you look at the infrastructure, you look at the training of coaches. I've had people that are DMing me asking for even an old ball, and that's the status of football. In such, if you compare us with Europe that we want to compete with, and you look at the type of resources that they have, you realize that we have the natural, predisposition. We have what we call talent, but to develop it into an elite, we need resources, and those resources are not forthcoming. And as a football nation, we don't have strategies to finance football, And despite the fact that people that support football are over 38 million in this country, but we don't have a strategy to finance football. And as a result, a lot of things are falling apart, And
so we're failing the youth, basically. I mean, as far as I can hear, we're basically failing the youth. It's between that or the system simply being under-resourced. I go back to a statement that was made by Mamadou Gueye on television, on SuperSport, even before ball was kicked at the FIFA Club World Cup. He said all the African teams are coming back, all of it, after the first round. They're not going to go into the knockout stages. Was he right? 100%. He was not wrong. And the same thing then elevates into a World Cup system. So it's no longer going to be 5 nations that are going to be qualifying this time for the World Cup. It's an expanded one, like it was an expanded FIFA Club World Cup. But we still find Africa as a whole, tail between our legs, we come back home. Maybe much so South Africa. I don't know, maybe now with the new coach, there's a new way of approaching things. But that's at the top level. What we're trying to dig at is at the bottom, because now the pipeline does not say there's a consistency. Yes, I know Coach Raimdag was supposed to be here, but he's listening, and I understand, and I know we'll have him back on the show again. But the qualifications and the winnings of continental championships and winning, World Cups is a combination of, I don't know, maybe the miracle that you were talking about, but how long can we survive with that? Maybe take that one. I'll come back to you, Coach Saram. Maybe take that one, Brian.
Well, look, I think the performance of players is built on another performance. And unfortunately, if you look at our football, performance tends to be linked to a coach. A coach comes in, he works so hard, he gets results, and then he moves on because now we think he must go to PSL, and then the system collapses because there is no structure that is sustainable, that is solid. Hence, we can see over the years, the coaches that did well, they went to PSL. Then we suffered for a while. Somebody else comes in, he wins something. So because there is no pathway for junior elite coaches to follow, it becomes a mix and match. And with that strategy, you are not going to have long-term sustainable success. It's going to be in pockets, you know.
So those are the pockets I want us to pickpocket after the break. You heard the lady that was sitting there, Pindile Piri, saying that the greatest memory in her mind of what happened football-wise in this country was 1996, AFCON victory. Since 96, nothing. Close the door, lock the key. We can't find this key. It's somewhere. So I want both of you, learned gentlemen, to help me understand then, how does a Raymond Mdaka, for example, get a continental AFCON trophy with all of these challenges, and how can we make that more consistent than a once-off?
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Hey, honey, look. Went to the shops, like you asked, and it was the Deco Fern birthday sale. Picked up this amazing 3-seater sofa for only $5,599. And this coffee table, just $489. Oh, and this gorgeous standing mirror for like $699.
Wow, I just asked you to get some milk.
Get deals worth celebrating at Deco Furniture's epic birthday sale with 10 to 40% and more off everything in-store or online now at decofurnace.co.za.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, adventure-packed tour, or luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your go-to for travel. From flights and hotels to tours and cruises, we've got it all. Plus travel insurance for peace of mind. If you want the best deals, you can save more by taking advantage of our Bundle Plus Save offer. Plan your trip today at your nearest Flight Centre store or visit flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Speed meets simplicity with the Honor 400 Lite from Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. Get yours today for only $349 per month over 36 months on a 1 gig Red Core plan. Enhance your deal. Add 9 Rand extra per month and get the Honor Choice Watch 2i. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
There's nothing quite like that new car feeling. The smile, the freedom, the flex. The Kia Picanto is yours from only 229,995 Rand. So, ditch the public transport and enjoy Kia's leading warranty. A car suited to your energetic lifestyle. Kia it with the Picanto from under 230 grand for a limited time only.
Kia, movement that inspires.
T's and C's apply.
Hi, I'm Dion Free. Winning requires audacity. That's why I joined African Bank and opened a 60-month fixed-term investment account. I'm scoring 12.8% interest at expiry on my investment. How cool is that? You too can join the bank that backs you to grow your money. Pop into a branch near you or visit africanbank.co.za. African Bank. Audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Shonim Kize joins us. It's now Eswatini where we find you. You are the president of Mbabane Highlanders AMFC.
Correct.
Why did you feel the need to include AM?
Mbabane Highlanders is a big brand. I don't want to do what happened with Bloemfontein.
The AM part, which is Andile, is he part of any structure within Highlanders Football Club AM?
Wherever I am, when it comes to football, Andile will always be part of it. Remember, I didn't come to football because I love football. I came to football because I was supporting my son, but unfortunately, I got addicted to it.
#MSW. #MSW.
Maybe somewhere within that clip lies the answer to my questions.
Rob, I want to take a moment to actually reiterate what Coach Serame Letswaka is mentioning in terms of the development of the game. You know, the way club football has somewhat deteriorated is derived from, you know, the lack of the street soccer, the slali team makers, stuff like that. I mean, growing up, I used to look forward to watching the Champions League on television because, you know, clubs like Two for Joy, we know how clubs like that went on to produce some of the stars that we grew up to see in different leagues. So it's very important, especially for the identity of our football as a nation. The most successful coach in Bafana, you know, bless his soul, Clive Barker, in terms of just allowing our style of football to shine and having the caliber of players that were able to allow our football to shine. So it's absolutely important for a country to have their own identity of play, because that is how we got to fully compete with the South Americas, with North Africa, you know, so because you've got a caliber of players that embrace their identity as players, and there's also a system that allowed that. So it's very important what Coach Letswaka is saying in terms of we need to revisit a time when football was so broad from street level all the way to senior level, because that's what gave us the identity as a nation in terms of our football. Juice from Togoza, great show as always.
Oh man, I think that really hit the nail on the head, Coach. How do you respond to that? Because, I mean, it takes us back to Abo Chepi's Little League. Those are things I looked forward to when I was, you know, looking forward to a big game. Your curtain raisers, your Steve Lekuleas of the future and so on. But we don't see that anymore.
We don't, Rob. I think that's where the problem lies. Look, you had that Chappies. There was Coca-Cola at under 17. I remember when I was a coach, there was this tournament of the under 17. There was Danone. There were all sorts of tournaments that we have. That's where they identified Mukocho. That's where Zidane said this is going to be the next big player in the country because he saw him at under 12. And those things are all gone. And you ask yourself, you look at rugby. You compare, like the lady was saying here, the Craven Week, you see, they are so organized. If they identify one good player in the school, they take him to a rugby school. And a rugby school. What do we have in the country?
They even have varsity rugby. So if you look at Rassie Erasmus, he's chosen one player from varsity rugby. Never heard before. But because he's a crazy coach who brings results and brings World Cups, he does that.
You see, if you compare when we won in 1996 and you compare the rugby and you compare the football, you look at that and say how many graduates were in this one, how many graduates were in this one. It really tells you because the rugby is more interested in the education of the players. And when players are educated and playing for you, Rob, when it becomes tough, these are the people who will pull through because they can think in a rational way to see how can we overcome this without the coach if there's 100,000 people in the stand, and how can we do that ourselves? It's rational, they can think. So education, it's also important. It's one of the things that I will be talking about at the Lekgotla, the importance of education in all this.
We'll get more details in terms of the Lekgotla. I see a lot of you on social media asking where, when, and how, and we'll give you that information. And while Coach Serame Letswaka makes the references with rugby, we also got to say, you know, there's a young kid that I saw, Liam Nela. Maybe in the future, that name will pop up, and you'll say, where did I hear this name? I mean, he's a number 10 that you've never seen. So he's going to be running out for SA schools for the team. They're going to be playing. And, you know, when you talk about a mix of flair and identity, and that's my delele opposition, if I can put it that way, you are that confident with the ball. They tackle you, you drop on the floor, you still have possession of the ball. Yeah. The ball's not left your hands yet. That is what we're talking about. Majalifa, from your space, though, I'm looking at Safa School of Excellence. And my big worry is, maybe it's not a worry, but are they is the School of Excellence adapting to modern football trends? Is it happening at a pace and a rate that you are happy with, or could something change?
Well, Rob, I think the comparison that's always done with the School of Excellence is that maybe we are not flashy, but when you look at the technical program, if you look at our curriculum, you will see that it's always informed by what is currently happening. We might not be aligning to the curve in terms of how the trends are going, but we are not very far off. And hence, we can able to produce the type of players that we've produced. I mean, if you look at the players that are coming from us, they turn professional at 17, 16, you know. And if you look at the young players now that people are talking about, Mabena, Kutlwano, and Vet Boy, they are still under 19 and they are in the professional rank. So we are trying, but we can do more, and there's no dispute about it. But from the little that we have, we are doing our best. And I mean, some of us, we continue to study. As I'm doing my master's in sports science, we read a lot. And but sometimes, like I said, we are let down by resources as coaches generally, not just even in the School of Excellence. And hopefully, with this type of platform that we are doing, we can able to bridge that knowledge gap, so that we can have a threshold to say, when you are a coach, this is the type of knowledge you must have as a starting point. Because what you find in football, somebody is very strong on tactics but doesn't know the physiology of football. Somebody is strong on working with kids but doesn't understand it. So we have to standardize the knowledge so that coaches start. If I'm coaching here in Gauteng, somebody's coaching in Kwakwa, we must be able to teach those kids the same curriculum. It mustn't be what I'm exposed to as an individual versus the other one.
But that's, for me, where the Football Association, the mother body, should be fighting for the formalization of football like we've had before, where it becomes part of the curriculum. So whose war is that to fight if it's not them?
Yeah, it's the MA. The curriculum should be the MA. A lot of experts must come and sit and say, this is how we play. This is how we train the country because of 1, 2, 3. We can be the best if we do this and this. And then we draw a curriculum out of that. We cannot just go to England and take their curriculum and bring it here. We have to do something that is a bespoke program for us in South Africa to say, this is how we play. This is our identity. This is our DNA. This is our play. But the leading people should be the MA to say, this is what must be followed in the country. But Rob, I go a little bit back and say, they say Wits is one of the best universities. Why? Because they have the best lectures. Do we have the best coaches who are coaching our children? The challenge again is in the coaches that we have in this country, in that we don't have specialized youth coaches. We have coaches who want to win the next match and be known and be able to be hired at the next level where he will make his money. But it's not that thing to say, I want to make sure that I build the best players in this country. So the first thing that we should be doing in this country, let's concentrate on the coaches. You can't say you have the best school and the best school does not have the best teachers. It's the best school because of the people who will roll out the curriculum that you have out there. But at the moment, anybody is thinking, I have an exercise. I will do this exercise today. It's not informed by curriculum, but he's just doing an exercise. It's all about exercises in the country. It's not about, it should be about helping the players to solve football problems. Any training session should be about solving a football problem with the kids that we're having. But how does somebody with a C license, how will he be able to put that across to the kids? That is the challenge that you have. That is the challenge that you see in the region here. If you go to Zambia, they have the same problem. If you go to Botswana, they have the same problem. It's a regional problem that we have. It's an African problem.
Who must we bring as a show? Who must we bring around this table so that we can interrogate them and tell them that they're useless at their job?
there has not been consistency in South Africa in terms of the technical director. If you have a proper technical director, look at Walter, he was there for 2 or 3 years. There was Friend before that. There was, there's not consistency. I was there.
Yeah.
I put documents there to say this is. And then it took them 3 years to get a coach after I have left SAFA. To get a technical director.
Carlos Queiroz said that when he was assistant coach at Manchester United, he said he left a massive document at SAFA offices. It's gathered dust. Even, cleaning companies can't even clean that dust off that document. That is how, dirty it is. So those experts come through. And for me, and I'm sorry if anyone's affiliated with SAFA, but if they're not doing their work, if just by name they're called SAFA School of Excellence, if that name is still attached to it, then what are they doing? I mean, if they're failing to pay Banyana players before time and their bonuses before time and everything else below them before time, then we are wasting our time because, like you've both said, if it's all about resources, and if resources are not there, then again, we are wasting our time.
But what is the role of SAFA? The development of football. Yeah. The core business of SAFA is to develop football, not the elite. But the amateur side of it, that is where SAFA should be, to saying this is where we are developing. And then you have the elite, which is the Premier League, that is taking care of that. How can we make sure that our amateur football is strong in the country? But if it is not resourced, like Mujalefa is saying, there's nothing that can be done in the country. You will always have these pockets of success to say, he's qualified at the under-20 to the World Cup. He's the first under-20 to win the AFCON.
Yeah, then he gets paid 30,000 rand a month and you say, guys, we're wasting our time.
Hey, Saramel Tsoke just broke my heart, Robert. Growing up, we used to pay, there was E, there was D, there was F, before you go to the first team. There's no football anymore in schools. There's nothing. These kids, poor kids, are into drugs. It's heartbreaking. There's no sports actually anymore on school. There's no school sport, nothing, athletics, nothing. This is sad, man. This is sad. What can you do to bring it back, Srame? Aish.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to your esteemed guests. Rob, I share the sentiments of the legend, Serame Letswaka, and also want to say that we are gradually losing what we call the farmers' coaches that are able to cultivate and nurture talent irrespective of the results. We are gradually seeing a spike in coaches that are focusing on their CVs or winning at all costs. I'll also make an example of Coach Matebula there, who I believe is one of those coaches that are called a farmers' coach who will cultivate. You look at his under 13 of last year, those boys were losing games week in, week out. But if you look at them this year, how they are applying themselves and how they are developing as players, you will be very impressed. And I think as a country, we need to be intentional in terms of people that we're bringing in at development and understand their intentions, because we cannot continuously having this issue of winning at all costs and compromising talent. Thank you so much, Tebogo.
Tebogo, thank you so much indeed. I know Coach Pitsom Simon has also been listening very attentively. It's been very heated here. I might not have too much time for him, but I think he'll be the next person that we do bring in when we have this roundtable here. Coach Pitso, thank you so much for your time. Just a quick response on what you've heard and what you want to add on.
Yeah, Rob, I have enough time, but I just want to give credit to the two gentlemen that are over there. Mujalefa has been in this thing with the sports school FX, so I don't want to talk about Serame because everybody who he is, where he was. I remember my office was just opposite this office, and we had this big vision of trying to help our country. But yeah, I think there's a lot of work we have to do. I've also joined youth football, you know that. I think we have the brains, to be honest. We have the capacity. Yeah, we need support, but I said to myself, am I going to criticize or what? So I've joined a club of youth football now. It's killing me every day, but I think, we can do better. But they have the points, they have the academics, they have the technical knowledge, the people you have. And I think we can still do well, to be honest. I'll just end there.
I'll negotiate with you off air, Coach Pitso, just in terms of when we have our appointment and bring you on air. Because I think it's an important conversation, like I've declared with the two gentlemen, that we can't just talk in pockets. We've got to make this all-inclusive, bring the important voices like yourself, and we'll come back, we'll give feedback on the Lekhutle as well the next time we do come through. So I'll keep that conversation off air. But I do thank you for listening. I do thank you for coming through. I know Michelle, if you wanted to give us more details, I'll find a way tomorrow to give everybody details about the Lekhutle. We are flat out of time, but I want to thank you both for really leading the fray. You could hear from the voice notes. It's an important conversation, long overdue, and let's do better as well. That's Safa Transnet School of Excellence football manager, Mojalifa Matebula, as well as Serame Letswaka, FIFA Regional Technical Consultant, joining us right here in studio. Gentlemen, thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Robbie.
This has been Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets. Catch you again tomorrow.